Hi, fourth grade. Today we are going to review two-digit by two-digit multiplication. I think that it would be helpful if you follow along with these steps. So if you have a writing utensil and a piece of paper, you can follow along with me. The first problem though, you don't need to write this down on your paper. I want you to follow along with me as I go through this so you understand the steps. We did this in the fall and we're reviewing it now. And I'm going to show the standard algorithm today. I know we went over some other ways to multiply two-digit by two-digit numbers, but I'm going to use the standard algorithm today to explain the steps in two-digit by two-digit multiplication and why place value really matters when we're doing these problems. So I'm going to multiply 32 times 23. Okay. Now, when I look at this, I need to think of how there is a tens place and a ones place. So, in 32, 3 is in the tens and 2 is in the ones. And in 23, 2 tens, 3 ones. Now, when I start this problem, I'm going to think first of 32 times 3, and because I'm breaking it up step by step, I'm going to circle that. So I have 32 times 3. I'm always going to start in the ones. So first I'm going to multiply 2 times 3. When I multiply 2 times 3, I get 6. I don't have a two-digit number there, so I don't need to worry about regrouping. If the 6 was bigger than 10 or above, I would have had to regroup. But because it's just 2 times 3, I write the 6, I move on to the tens place. So this is really like saying 30 times 3 since there are 3 tens. I'm just going to look at these individual digits though and multiply them. 3 times 3, and that gives me a 9 in my tens place. 96 is what I would get by multiplying 32 times 3. Now I'm going to move on to the next spot, and I'm going to just rewrite this problem really quick so that I can show you the next step and box what I'm going to work on next. So I'm just going to write 32 times 23 again, and I already have that first step of getting 96, so I'm going to write that. However, I'm now going to box the 2, and notice that that 2 is in the tens place. I'm looking here. So I have 32 times, not just 2, but 20 since it's in the tens place, which is why I need to first start my second line by putting a 0 since I'm multiplying 32 by 20. So I'm going to put that 0 there. And now I can start looking at the individual digits and multiplying those numbers. So I have 2 times 2, which is going to give me 4. And then I have 3 times 2. So I'm putting my answers here now, I'm looking at this part of the problem. And 3 times 2 is 6. So I have 96 and 640. That shows me that 32 times 3 gave us 96, and 32 times 20 gave us 640. Now that's thinking of the place value. We're looking at it when we multiply just one digit by one digit. Because we have 2 parts to our answer, we're going to now add them. So I have 6 plus 0 gives me 0. 9 plus 4 is 13. And 1 plus 6 is 7. So now I have my final answer of 736. Now, with your paper, you're going to follow along with the steps in this next problem. Let's write 16 times 13. So since it's 2 digits, I'm going to have 16 times 13, and I'm going to start by looking at my ones. I'm going to fold this over, so you're just looking at this problem now too. So I'm going to circle or box 16 and 3 because I want to focus on 16 times 3 first. And with that, I'm going to start in the ones place 6 times 3. Now you'll notice that this time we are regrouping because 6 times 3 is 18. So the ones place number goes underneath our line and I carry the 1. So it should look like this, where we put 8 as our answer and the 1 is over here. So together that's 18, but because it's more than 1 digit for our answer, we have to regroup. So now I have 3 times 1, and then I add the additional 1 from 18. So 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. That tells me that 16 times 3 is 48. Okay, I'm going to now scribble out this one in case I have to regroup again, or if I don't want that 1 there because I'm not going to add anything if I'm not regrouping. So we're moving on to the next step. I've shown you that 16 times 3 is 48. I'm going to rewrite that so now I can box my tens place number in the second number. So now that it looks like this. And this is really telling us that we're multiplying 16 times 10 since that 1 is in the tens place, which means we need to put a 0 underneath our 8. So before we start multiplying, we need that 0 to show that we're multiplying by a number that's in the tens place. So I have 1 times 6, going back to multiplying the tens place times the ones place, and 6 times 1 is 6. And now I go to the tens place in that number, and I have 1 times 1, which is 1. That gives me 160. Now I can add them. So I have 8 plus 0, which gives me 8, 4 plus 6, which gives me 10, 1 plus 1, which gives me 2, and I have 208 as my answer. So 16 times 13 gives us 208. You're going to be practicing these steps on Friday, okay? You're going to be solving just a handful of problems, and on your piece of paper, you don't have to write it twice if you don't want to, okay? I just was doing that so I could box the ones, box the tens, and then show you those steps. But if you just want to solve it all at once, it would look like this without boxing it. Just the 2 rows with your numbers that you've multiplied. And then you're going to send us a picture of that. Okay, let's do one more together before I leave today. And this time I'm not going to separate it because I want you to see kind of what it'll look like as you work through your problems. So I'm going to multiply 24 times 15 this time. So I write it out, 24 times 15, and keep in mind that you should be writing it like this so that you can follow those steps that I've gone over as you're solving your own problems. My first step is to look at 24 times 5. I'm going to start with the ones place, and I see 4 times 5. I will have to regroup because 4 times 5 is 20. So the 0 is in the ones, that goes underneath our equal sign, and I carry the 2. So it looks like this. I have 24 times 5 that I'm still working on. 5 times 4 was 20. Now I'm going to go here and multiply 5 times 2, add my 2 as well. So 5 times 2 is 10, and 10 plus 2 is 12. I have 120 as my answer then. 24 times 5 would give us 120. We've finished the first step of multiplying 24 times 5. Now you go over to the tens place in this second number, and that's not just a 1, it stands for 10. So our next problem is multiplying 24 times 10, which is why we're going to put that 0 there first. Okay? And now we are going to multiply 1 times 4. Going from this new number I'm looking at, that 10, to the ones place in the first number. Then 4 times 1 is going to give us 4. I don't have to regroup. I could have also crossed out that 2 so that I know not to use it again. And 2 times 1 is 2. So that tells me that 24 times 10 would give us 240. Now I can add these two numbers together. 0 plus 0 is 0, 2 plus 4 is 6, and 1 plus 2 is 3. So 24 times 15 would give us 360. As you're solving these problems on Friday, like I said, you can follow these steps, write it down on a piece of paper, and send a picture of it to your teacher. If you have any questions as you're working on these problems, your teachers are here to help you. So let us know if you need more direction in those steps. Make sure you're using this video to help you as you're doing it too. Have a great day.